Assalamu alaikum students. Once again, I welcome you all to my YouTube video class. Today, we are going to learn a new chapter, that is Introduction to C++ in Unit 3. Before we get into the topic, let us see what are the things we are going to learn today. Today, we will be learning about Introduction to C++, character set and lexical units. Our first topic is Introduction to C++. C++ is one of the most popular programming language which supports both procedural and object-oriented programming. Why do we use a language? To communicate with others, we are using a language. Now, we are going to communicate with the computers. Since computer is an electronic device, we have to give step-by-step instructions to the computer to make the computer to perform a particular task, because we cannot communicate directly with the computer. So, to make the computer to do particular task, we have to give a set of instructions. That set of instruction is called as programs. So, C++ is a programming language. It is a high-level programming language. Already, we have learned that computer knows only the machine language. But we are very familiar with the high-level language. So, our language will be converted into the machine language with the help of translating programs. So, this C++ program supports both procedural and object-oriented programming, so that it is called as hybrid language, because it is a combination of both procedural and object-oriented programming language. Here, procedural is nothing but which contains the sequence of instruction which is executed in the sequence order, and object-oriented programming concept has a high-level concept. It is used to solve all the complex problems. Then C++ is a superset of its predecessor C language. So, before C++, C language was very popular, and the predecessor of C++ is C language. Then, John Stroustrup named his new language as C with classes, because C is a structured programming language. Additionally, they have added a concept called object-oriented concept. So, John Stroustrup initially named his language called C with classes. Then, the name C++ was coined by Rick Musett, where ++ is a C language increment operator. So, Rick Musett is the name of the person who changed the name C with classes to C++, where ++ is the increment operator. So, C with additional features is called as C++ programming language. Our next topic is History of C++. C++ was developed by John Stroustrup at AT&T Bell Laboratory during 1979. C++ is originally derived from C language. Not only C language, it is also influenced by many programming languages like Simula, BCPL, Ada, ML, CLU and Algol 68. Till 1983, it was referred as New C and C with classes. C++ was invented in 1979. It was the extension of C. So, during that time, it was referred as New C or C with classes. Then, after 1983, the name was changed as C++ by Rick Musett. Next one is benefits of learning C++. What is the purpose of programming language? To communicate with the computer and make the computer to do a particular task to solve a problem. So, many programming languages are there. Purposely, why we are learning C++ program? Because C++ is a highly portable language and is often the language of choice for multi-device, multi-platform app development. So, C++ is a portable language. With the help of C++, many apps are developed. Then C++ is an object-oriented programming language and includes classes, inheritance, polymorphism, data abstraction and encapsulation. So these are the concepts which involves in the object-oriented programming language. Then C++ has a rich function library. So many library functions are there. It provides us to create more apps also. Then C++ allows exception handling, inheritance and function overloading which are not possible in C. So these are the important features which are not available in C. These topics we will discuss later. Then the next one is C++ is a powerful, efficient and fast language. It finds a wide range of applications from GUI applications to 3D graphics for games to real-time mathematical simulations. So, C++ is very powerful when compared with the previous programming languages and the speed is also very high. Here, the best example is games. So, many games apps codings are written in C++ programming language and also it creates a GUI applications like Adobe System, then databases like MySQL Server. So these are written in C++ program. Then Google applications like Google File is also created with the help of C++ program only. Then MS Office packages also created with the help of C++ programming. Then the Mozilla Firefox browser is also created with the help of C++ codings. So these are some of the uses of C++ language. Our next topic is character set. Character set is a set of characters which are used to write a C++ program. Why we are using a language? To communicate with the others or to express our thoughts to others. Similarly, to learn computer programming language, we must know that what are the character sets are available in the particular programming language. A character represents any alphabet, number or any other symbol. Special characters mostly available in the keyboard. So we have many special characters. Everything is available in the keyboard. C++ accepts the following characters like alphabets, that is both uppercase letter and lowercase letters, capital A to Z and small a to Z. Then numeric, that means digits 0 to 9. Then the special characters plus, minus, star, slash, etc. So these are the special characters allowed in C++. Next one is white space like single space or blank space, tab, new line, entry key, etc. Then the other characters which includes in the ASCII character. Okay, so these are the character sets which are available in C++ programming language. Our next topic is lexical units. Lexical units is also called as tokens. What is meant by lexical units? C++ program statements are constructed by many different small elements. So, the program contains a set of instructions. That set of instructions are made up of commands, variables, constants and many more symbols called as operators and punctuators. So, these individual elements are collectively called as lexical units or lexical elements or tokens. Let's see what are the different types of tokens are there in C++ programming language. Keywords, identifiers, literals, punctuators and operators. So, these are the types of tokens available in C++ language. So, what is meant by token? The smallest individual unit in a program is known as a token or a lexical unit. Now, let's see the first token, that is keywords. Keywords are the reserved words which convey special meaning to the C++ compiler. So, what is the compiler? Who is the compiler here? I already told that C++ is a high-level programming language. So, high-level programming language is understandable only by the human being, and it is not understandable by the computer because the computer knows only the machine language. So, to convert the high level language to machine language and machine language to high level language, translating program is used. That translating program is the compiler. So, the keywords are the reserved words, which means it is a predefined word which will be used only for that particular purpose. We cannot use that keywords for any other purpose. Okay. So, keywords are the reserved words which convey specific meaning to the C++ compiler. They are the essential elements to construct C++ programs. Most of the keywords are common to C, C++, and Java. So, keywords are used for all the programming languages. Most of the keywords are similar to C, C++, and Java programming language. Then C++ is a case-sensitive programming language. So, all the keywords must be in lowercase. What is the meaning of case-sensitive? So, we have two cases. One is uppercase, that is capital letters, and the another one is lowercase, that is small letters. So, there is a difference between the uppercase and lowercase. Always all the keywords should be in the lowercase letters, that is small letters. Then these are the C++ keywords. So keywords are the reserved words for specific purpose. Then these words cannot be used as normal identifiers. Then additionally some other keywords also created like using, namespace, bal, static underscore cast, const underscore cast, dynamic underscore cast, true, false. So these are the additional keywords to improve the development of the C++. Then the identifiers containing a double underscore are not allowed to create by the user because it is used by the C++ implementation and standard libraries. So, these should be avoided by the users. So, these are the keywords which will be used only for the particular purpose which is already predefined. So, these keywords cannot be used as normal naming purpose. The next one is identifiers. Identifiers are the user-defined names. Who is the user here? We are the user. So, we have to give the names. So, identifiers are the user-defined names given to different parts of the C++ program like variables, functions, arrays, classes, etc. So, these are the fundamental building blocks of a program. So, without variables, we cannot store any values. So, identifiers are otherwise known as variables which is used to store the values. It is the name of the memory location. It is used to store the data. So, while giving name to the variables, we have to follow certain procedures. Every language has specific rules for naming the identifiers. Let's see the rules for naming an identifier. The first rule is the first character of an identifier must be an alphabet or an underscore. So, the identifier should start with an alphabet or single underscore. Then the second rule is only alphabets, digits and underscore are permitted. Other special characters are not allowed as a part of an identifier. So, we can use alphabets, numbers and underscores. These three only permitted for naming the variable. Then a variable name must begin with an alphabets or underscore. Then it should be followed by numbers. The first character should not be a number. It should be an alphabet or an underscore. Then the special characters in the sense comma, colon, semicolon, question mark, dot, etc. So these are not allowed to naming a variable. Then the next rule is C++ is case sensitive as it treats upper and lowercase letters differently. I already told you that the meaning of case sensitive, that is uppercase, which means capital letter, then the lowercase, which means small letters. So there is a difference between these two. ASCII values for capital A to Z and the ASCII values of small a to Z are not same. So the variable name capital A and small a are not the same. Both will be considered as a different variable. So when you create a variable, you should be aware of this. So creating variable using lowercase is always safe. Then the next rule is reserved words or keywords cannot be used as an identifier name. Already we have studied keywords, right? Keywords are reserved words of predefined meaning. So keywords cannot be used as variable name. So these are the rules for naming the identifier. So identifier is nothing but giving the name to the variable, class, function and array. While giving name to the variable, we have to follow those rules. Now let's see the example. In this example, we will see which are the valid and invalid identifiers. The first example is num. This is valid because the rule is first character should be an alphabet or underscore. So this is valid. The second example is capital NUM. This is also valid because the first letter should be an alphabet or underscore. It may be a capital letter or small letter. Then the third example is underscore add. This is also valid because the first character is underscore. The next example is total underscore cells. This is also valid. If you want to combine two words, you can use underscore here. So this is also valid. But you should not use space, that is considered as invalid. Next example is num-add. This is invalid because we should not use any special character. Here the special character is hyphen, that is considered as invalid. The next example is this. It is invalid because this is one of the keyword. Keyword cannot be used as an identifier names. So this is invalid. The next example is to my file. This is also invalid because the first character of an identifier should be an alphabet or an underscore. Here too is a number. So this is considered as invalid. Our next topic is literals. Literals is otherwise known as constants. Literals are data items whose values do not change during the execution of a program. So, the values are stored in the variables. For example, A is equal to 2, B is equal to 5. So, 2 is the value stored in the variable A. Here 5 is the value stored in the variable B. So, those values are called as constant. Then, those values will not change during the execution of a program. The variable keep on updates its value during the execution of a program, but constants do not change its values. Therefore, literals are called as constants. C++ has several kinds of literals. They are literals. Numeric constants. Numeric constants is further divided into integer constant, real constant. Then Boolean constant, character constant and string constant. Let's discuss detailedly about all these types. First one is numeric constants. As the name indicates, the numeric constants are numeric values which are used as constants. So, the name itself we get an idea about numeric constants which contains only the numbers. Here, the numeric constants are further classified as integer constants or fixed point constants, real constants or floating point constants. Let's see the first one, that is integer constant or fixed point constant. Integers are whole numbers without any fractions. Here, fractional part is nothing but after the decimal point, whatever the numbers are coming, that is called as fractional part. An integer constant must have at least one digit without a decimal point. It may be signed or unsigned. So, signed integers are considered as negative. Commas and blank spaces are not allowed as part of it. In C++, there are three types of integer constant: decimal, octal, and hexadecimal. So, these names are very familiar, right? You have already studied these names in the number system. Do you remember that? Okay, the first one is decimal integer. Decimal means what? It should contain 0 to 9 digits. So, you can use the combination of 0 to 9 only. Now, let's see some examples. 725, this is valid. And 7500, 7 comma 500, comma is not allowed, so this is invalid. Then the next example is minus 27. This is valid because you can use a signed integer. So minus is allowed here. Then 66 space 5. Here space is not allowed. So this is invalid. The next example 4.56. So if you assign 4.56 as an integer decimal constant, the compiler will accept only the integer portion of 4.56. Which is the integer part here? 4. First part is integer part. Then the remaining part .56 is considered as fractional part. So the decimal integer will accept only the integer part, that is 4, and the fractional part will be ignored. Then $9. Here dollar is a special character, so this is considered as invalid. Next one is octal. So how do we represent the octal number? It can be represented with the combination of 0 to 7 that begins with 0 is considered as an octal number. Now let's see some example. First example is 012. Here beginning number is 0 and the remaining numbers are in between 0 to 7. So it is considered as an octal integer constant. Then the next example is minus 0 to 7. Minus is a signed octal integer and the beginning number is 0 and the remaining numbers are in between 0 to 7. So it is also considered as octal number. The next example is plus 0231. Plus is considered as an unsigned octal integer. So this is also valid. Then invalid examples. 05,600. Comma is not allowed, so it is considered as invalid. The next example is 04.56. Here decimal point is not allowed. When you use a fractional number that begins with 0, C++ considered the number as a normal decimal integer and it is not considered as an octal number, so it is invalid. The next example is 0158. 8 is not allowed because octal digits are 0 to 7. So the digit 8 is not allowed. So these numbers are considered as invalid. Do you understand this? Next one is hexadecimal. Hexadecimal means what? It is the sequence of one or more hexadecimal values. What are the hexadecimal values? 0 to 9 and A to F. Totally we have 16 numbers. 0 to 9 and 10 to 15 are represented as A to F. Already we have studied, right? Do you remember that? So, while representing hexadecimal number, it should start with 0x or 0 capital X. So, x be the lowercase or capital X is considered as an hexadecimal constant. Now, let's see some example of valid and invalid hexadecimal numbers. Valid 0x123. This is valid because it starts with 0x and the numbers are between 0 to 9. And the next example is 0 capital X 568. This is also valid. And the invalid examples 0x1, A5. It is considered as invalid because comma is not allowed. Then next example is 0x.14e. Decimal point is not allowed here, so it is invalid. Then similarly, to represent octal and hexadecimal digits, we are using prefix. 0 is for octal and 0x for hexadecimal. In the same way, to represent a long or unsigned constant, we have to use the suffix capital L or small l and capital U or small u. So, for long integer, at the end of the numbers, we have to use a capital L or small l. If it is unsigned integer, we have to use a capital U or small u. The next one is real constants or floating point constant. A real or floating point constant is a numeric constant having a fractional component. So, real numbers are nothing but fractional numbers. These constants may be written in fractional form or in exponent form. Fractional form of a real constant is a signed or unsigned sequence of digits including a decimal point between the digits. It must have at least one digit before and after a decimal point. So, to write the values in fractional form, we have to use decimal point between the digits. For example, 4.56. So, this is a fraction. Okay, here 4 is an integral part and 0.56 is a fractional part. Then, it may be prefixed with positive or negative sign. Then a real constant without any sign will be considered as positive. So this is all about real constant. Next we will see exponent form. Exponent form of real constant consists of two parts. One is mantissa and another one is exponent. So, the mantissa must be either an integer part or a real constant. Then the mantissa followed by a letter E, capital E or small e, and the exponent should also be an integer. Now, let's see some example. 58000000.00 may be written as 0.58 into 10 to the power of 8. Here 0.58 can be represented as mantissa and E8. The value after E is represented as exponent. So 8 is the exponent value here. Now let's see the first example 5.864E1. Here the exponent form can be written as the power of 10. Okay, so here the exponent value is 1. So 10 to the power of 1 into 5.864. So the power value is positive. Then the decimal point is moved in the right hand side. So the decimal point is moved towards the right side. Then what result we will get? 58.64, because 10 to the power of 1 we have to move one place towards the right hand side. So we will get 58.64. Similarly, the next example 5864e minus 2. Here the exponent value is minus 2. So we have to write 10 to the power of minus 2 into 5864. Look at the question 5864. Here there is no decimal. So by default decimal point is after 4. So we have to move 2 places towards the left hand side. So the result is 58.64. Then the next example is 0.5864 E2. Here the exponent form is positive. So it can be written as 10 to the power of 2 into 0.5864. Here the power value is positive. So the decimal point is moved 2 places towards the right hand side. So the result is 58.64. Do you understand that? So, a decimal point between the digits is considered as real constant or floating point constant. Next one is Boolean literals. Boolean literals are used to represent one of the Boolean values, either true or false. So, the values of Boolean literals are either true or false. Internally, the true value is represented as 1 and the false value is represented as 0. The next one is character constant. A character constant is nothing but it represents a single character enclosed within single quotes. So, character means alphabets. So, it will be represented within single quotes. Here, they have given some valid and invalid characters. So, the valid character constant is within a single quote A, within a single quote 2 and within a single quote dollar. Here A is a character, it is represented in single quote, so it is valid. Here 2 is also valid because 2 is a numerical value but it is given in single quotes, so it is considered as a character. Each character in the keyboard has an equivalent ASCII values. We have already studied ASCII values in number system lesson. Do you remember that? What is the full form of ASCII? That is American Standard Code for Information Interchange. Then the invalid character constant is within double quotes A. This is invalid. Why? Because we should not give a single character in double quotes. Then it is considered as invalid. Then the value of a single character constant has an equivalent ASCII value. For example, the value of capital A is 65. Then capital B is 66 and it will be goes on till Z. Then the next one is escape sequences. What is escape sequence? Escape sequence is also called as non-graphic characters. Then what is non-graphic character? C++ allows certain non-printable characters represented as character constant. So we cannot print few special characters. So that non-printable characters are also called as non-graphic characters. So non-printable characters are those characters that cannot be typed directly from a keyboard during the execution of a program in C++. For example, backspace, tabs, question mark, new line, etc. So, if we want to print those non-printable characters, then we have to do with the help of escape sequence. So, escape sequences are represented with the backslash followed by 1 or 2 characters. Then that will be displayed on the output, though it is a non-printable characters. So, non-printable characters can also be printed with the help of escape sequence. So, escape sequence are nothing but backslash. For example, escape sequence backslash A. If you want to create a build sound, then you have to give backslash A. Then you will get a build sound. Then backspace. If you want to give backspace, you have to give backslash B. Then if you want to give form feed, you have to give backslash F. Then if you want to create a new line in your output, then you have to give backslash N. Then for carriage return, you have to give backslash R. Then if you want to print something horizontally, you have to give backslash T. This is horizontal tab. Then if you want to print anything vertically, you have to give backslash V. This is for vertical tab. Then if you want to print backslash in your output, then you have to give backslash. Then the same way, if you want to give single quote, you have to give single quote, then double quotes, then question mark, then backslash ON. If you want to print octal number, then you have to give backslash ON. For hexadecimal, backslash XHN. Then for null characters, you have to give backslash 0. So these are the escape sequences. Even though an escape sequence contains 2 characters, they should be enclosed within single quotes because C++ consider escape sequences as characters constant and allocates 1 byte in ASCII representation. Next one is string literals. What do you mean by string? A string is nothing but a group of characters. So, sequence of characters enclosed within double quotes are called as string literals. For example, an alphabet A. Here, A is a single character. Then, if you give any name within double quotes, then that is a string. So, the string contains the group of characters. By default, string literals are automatically added with the special character backslash 0, that is null, at the end. So, automatically backslash 0 will be added at the end of the string. For example, welcome. The string welcome will actually be represented as welcome backslash 0. In memory, and the size of the string is not 7 but 8 characters, that is inclusive of the last character backslash 0. Here, the size of the string welcome is actually 7, but in memory, the size of this string is not 7 but 8 because \0 will be added at the end of the string by default. Let's see some examples of valid and invalid string literals. First one is valid string literals. A single character can also be given in double quotes. It is considered as string literals. Next one is welcome. This is a sequence of characters will be given in double quotes. So it is considered as string literals. Then within double quotes 1, 2, 3, 4. Though it is a numeric constant, it will be considered as a string. Okay, because the numbers are given in double quotes here. Then some examples of invalid string literals. Welcome is given in single quote, so string should not be given in single quotes. So this is invalid. Then the numeric values 1, 2, 3, 4. This is also given in single quote, so this is considered as invalid string literals. Students, the first part of this lesson ends here. I hope you understood this lesson. And the assignment of this lesson is, what is meant by a token? Name the tokens available in C++. Then the second question, what are keywords? Can keywords be used as identifiers? Then the third question, describe the differences between keywords and identifiers. Then the fourth question, is C++ case sensitive? What is meant by the term case sensitive? Students, submit your assignments on time. Thank you for watching this video. We'll see you in the next video class. Assalamu alaikum.